Namaste, Linda here. Going to do a little tutorial on Chaturanga Dandasana. So, you're going to come to your yoga mat, and we're going to start on the hands and the knees so that we can start to understand all the components of this quite challenging pose. Okay, we see it a lot in yoga, but it doesn't mean because we see it often that it is easy. So the first thing to do is make sure that all the fingers are pressing into the floor, and the angle of the wrist is either, so this is what I could call my wrist crease. You want this to either be aligned with the front of the mat or a little bit turning out this way, but never that way. Or, you know, maybe there is a case where you would do that, but I've never encountered it, okay? So, first you check the wrist crease, and then you want to press all the fingers into the floor and the pads of the hands. So at the ends of the finger, the end of the thumb, all these areas pushing firmly into the floor. And then as you push those into the floor, you want to feel like this suction cupping up right in the very center of the palm. And so that lifts up and it comes all the way up into the arms and into the sternum, and then the space between the shoulder blades is lifting away from the floor. Okay, so let's try that. So you're on your hands and knees. Knees are behind the hips, elbows and shoulders over the wrists. Soften the elbows so that you're not locking. So nothing like what I'm just showing right now. I'm softening the elbows. They're pointing a little bit towards the back of my yoga mat. And then I press into the floor. I reach the sternum away from the floor. And I feel like the skin of my forearms is lifting up away from the floor as well. Now, from there, the upper outer arm skin is slightly turning towards the back of your yoga mat. So this area here, but it's just enough. We don't go overboard. Okay, you need a little bit of internal rotation and a little bit of external rotation. So you have to find that exact right place. So I'm pushing in. I feel the skin wrapping back, my sternum lengthening forward, and then I need to feel the area of the belly firming in, like firming up towards the back of my spine. And then as I do this, I want my sitting bones to reach towards the back of my mat so that I'm making space between the crown and the sitting bones. So I'm lengthening this whole area. Okay, so this, I don't know, my toes stay tucked under. For me, I feel like even holding here, I have to make an effort. Okay, so it feels strong. Okay, so then from there, once you find that, then you slowly start to lean forward, but maintaining everything. So that the navel is pulling in, the elbows are starting to bend, and they're going towards the back of your yoga mat. And then I'm slowly coming down, keeping the length, and I slowly come all the way down to the floor. Okay, so this could be a version of Chaturanga. And let me tell you, it's not as easy as it looks, so give it a try. And then if it feels quite not too challenging, then the next version you could do, so I would come back into my alignment. So see how I'm just sagging here? We don't want that, okay? It's very different from making this effort, pressing the pads of the hands, reaching the sitting bones in one direction, reaching the sternum in the opposite direction, wrapping the upper outer arms, and feeling the navel area pulling in, firming in. And then I lean forward, seeing if I can maintain all this, and then I come about halfway down. Then I can come out. Okay, so that could be the Chaturanga. Then another version is a plank pose. So because these two are very good for understanding how to arrange this area of the body so that it's firming in. Because Chaturanga means four-legged staff pose, and you need to have everything in between the hands and the feet like a staff, like a strong stick. Okay? So I come back. I don't change anything. My fingers are still pushing in. The center of the palm is still pulling up. The skin of the forearms are still pulling up, filling in that space between the shoulder blades, upper, outer arm skin, wrapping back. And then I'm going to straighten my legs. So this time look down the body and see that you look like a nice straight line. The feet are about hip width apart, more or less. And then feel like the hip bones here are reaching up towards the navel. And then the tops of the buttocks are sliding down towards the heels. And then the centers of the heels, just the very center, is pushing away as the sternum reaches in the opposite direction. Okay, so I'll talk it through. So come into a plank, check the fingers, pull the palm, the center of the palm away from the floor, bring the sternum up like it's reaching between the shoulder blades, wrap the upper outer skin of the arms towards the back of your mat, look down the body, try to bring the hip bones up towards the navel, tops of the buttocks reaching towards the heels, and then push the heels away. And then bring the neck in line with the rest of the spine and hold it here. So this could be another version of Chaturanga, so not even bending the elbows. And with those three versions I gave, if you're doing this in the rhythm of a sun salutation, you do those poses and you inhale into your either cobra or upward dog position. Okay, so let's come back, try the next step. So we come into our plank, we find all the details, and there's this sensation that you're co-contracting the muscles. So it means that the thighs are engaged, but also the hamstrings are engaged. The lower belly is engaged, but also the glutes are engaged. Okay, so everything is like, you feel the muscles are holding on to the bones of the body. Okay, so back into this plank. Scan the body, fingertips, pressing down, reach the sternum, so it's filling the space between the shoulder blades, upper, outer arms, skin wrapping back, pressing the heels away, upper buttocks reaching towards the heels, and hip bones reaching up towards the sternum, sternum reaching forward. So engaging, co-contracting, start to lean forward, swivel the elbows so the elbows feel like they're pointing towards the back of the mat, leaning forward, keep the back of the neck long, and maybe you come all the way down to the floor, so I'll show you this one first, but slowly with control. And then from there you can go into your cobra or your upward dog. Okay, so this takes time, I'm starting to sweat, you know, it's not super easy. So don't get fooled by thinking that if you do a really fast chaturanga that you're actually building strength. You're building more strength doing a variation or a modification of it and working layer by layer by layer by layer, and then one day you feel like, oh wow, I can do chaturanga. Okay, so we come back into our plank pose, press the heels away, hip bones reaching towards the navel, upper outer arm skin wrapping back, and then slowly coming down and trying to come about halfway down. Pressing the heels away, keep that, and then you can come back up. Okay, so there's lots of other little tricks you can do to understand, but we'll do those another day. Namaste.